Hello friends. Welcome to Awwwards Academy. My name is Rachel and I'm going to be your host on today's live session. So we are streaming to you from Awwwards Academy. Awwwards Academy is an interactive learning platform, a place for digital designers to connect, learn and have fun. So do check out the workshops and live sessions we've got coming up on there. So remember to show us some love on YouTube, hit that like and subscribe button, please. So let's get to it. Let's meet today's jury. Today we are joined by Jonas Lempa, Anna Luna and Jonas Emmertsen. So just waiting for them to connect. Here's Anna with your mic on, please. Anna, and we've got Jonas Emmertsen. Hello, Jonas. Joining us from Berlin as well. Okay, so hello everyone.
Hello.
Jonas, we can't see you, Jonas Lempa.
Is it like that?
I can see him.
Oh, okay. Well, here we go.
There he is.
Okay. So, there he is. Hey. So we are kicking off. We've got Jonas Lempa, who's partner and creative director at Taikonauten. Hello, Jonas. How are you?
Hi, everybody. So happy to be here again. Thank you very much, Awwwards, for inviting me. Thank you very much for Anna and Jonas to join. And hi to my team who's watching and everybody who is interested. It's nice to be back.
Yes, it's good to have you back. We've also got Anna Luna, who's creative director at Circus. Hi, Anna. How are you?
Hola. Hi, everyone. Very excited to be here as well and ready to get on analyzing this site.
Okay, excellent. And we've got Jonas Emmertsen. He's Associate Creative Director at Jam 3. Welcome, Jonas.
Thank you very much. I'm stoked to be here. Like Anna, I'm excited to analyze this site with her and Jonas, my brother from Berlin.
Well, thank you so much for connecting. So we've got Madrid, Copenhagen and Berlin here. So it's really exciting to have all the jury getting together to discuss this really cool site by Resin. So I'm going to leave you in Jonas's capable hands and I'll be back at the end for the Q&A. So remember everyone, put your questions in the chat and we will answer them. And also there's a resource that Resin have sent us, which you can download, a PDF with some bits in. So yeah, I'll see you at the end. Have a good live jury website review.
Cool. Thank you very much, Rachel. Very happy to join up with this amazing jury fellows and especially having the possibility to talk about the live website of OneMove, created not only by the industry leading, but the industry changing people of Resin. So whoever is whoever is watching, shout outs. We are always excited to see your work and to enjoy the experiences you're creating. This time it's a website from May, March, April, something like that. So not super accurate, but there was something we are going to talk about at the end, which was very special about this website or this event. But besides of that, there are a couple of highlights we're going to highlight today. So Jonas, what do you have to say about that?
Yeah, I mean, what we can see from these screenshots here is some WebGL, and that's not the first of its kind. But like you mentioned, there is something about this experience that was first of its kind, and we will get to that a little later, that little treat. Other than that, there's a cool split experience going on here with some video content together with some WebGL interaction. Then there is the live web experience and some mixed media. I think we should just dive into it.
Before we dive into that, let's have a quick look on some technical aspects the dev jury took a look at. We have here a few performance topics and some opportunities to improve based on the dev jury, where we have interesting insights, and we invite everybody to look on the details. Looking when you Google for OneMove Awards, you will find the detailed report about all the opportunities and about all the performance topics, which are briefly summarized here this topic. But since we are also here to experience the whole platform or the whole website or the whole event, I would like to invite you to jump immediately to the actual experience you're hopefully seeing right now.
It's white for me.
Me too.
This bridge
There we
was
go,
too
it's
exciting.
There we go. Now it's loading. Something
Something is loading, right?
Something is loading. I'm having a great experience so far.
And boom.
There we go.
So let's reload that and see the first intro slide. Anna, you wanted to say a little bit about that,
Yeah,
right?
so yeah, like how people say that you normally don't judge a book by its cover, and I do, and I also judge a website on these intro slides, which are key. And I like how they use "It's time to write the future." It's such a simple copy, and it says so much. And once you enter the website, you see that it's very consistent with what they're promising, because this phrase is very cocky. You know, it's out there. You're talking about the future, and later on you'll discover why they were not afraid to tell it that way.
Are ready to enjoy the experience?
Let's do it.
Boom. So
something I want to point out here in the beginning is that you land on this intro video thing. We all have mixed feelings about those, if it's annoying or if it's great. I think it's always nice, especially with these kind of experiences, that there is this layer to it. And I think Resin has done a really good job in this case. I love the beginning with the close-up shots where we are teasing something that we at this point don't really know what is until we reveal it here at the end. I think they have done a great job from an art direction perspective in using the same colors as this intro slide here, with the black and the red and the white. And I think conceptually, I really like the light sources they are using to reflect the shape of the bike. It's cool that they are using white and red. I think, to me, that I'm thinking like the front light and the back light of the bike. I'm not sure if that's the concept behind it, but that's what I'm thinking. And I think it looks, very Batman-ish, which is really bold.
Totally.
And
That was what I was thinking.
one thing also to notice that is not we can't experience right now, and why you guys out there should visit this site afterwards, is that it has a sound element to it throughout the entire experience. And Resin has done a great job in using sound, not only just having like background music, but whatever moves, it sounds like that, and it just excites you to have that extra layer added onto it.
absolutely. I mean, this sound we can't transfer right now is like, just you get goosebumps from that. This is some really high level production, really also fitting to the target group. Like really movie theater bass and everything, which belongs to a really nice experience. And this is pretty unique. Because it's also fitted to the whole experience, to every movement, and etc. etc. So you definitely should live through the website by entering live.vanmove.com, but not yet.
One thing also I think is interesting from that intro piece is that usually you would make it as a video that you upload and play automatically when you click into it. But in this case, I think it's just like animation in WebGL, if I'm correct. And I think that's a pretty cool decision in terms of when you then land on the experience. You don't have to do like some sort of fixture. You have that same bike you have been watching through this intro piece that will be the bike that you are interacting with throughout the journey.
Wow, so much spinning.
Yeah.
Yeah, so please enjoy the music and experience this great intro. I was asking myself why I decided to do the intro actually based on WebGL, because this is like normally one of the traditional situations where we say, well, we all know that this website is pretty heavy on WebGL and etc. So let's do the intro at least as some rendered video. But I decided not to do that, or whoever decided not to do that. And I think it actually, in the first moment, I thought, why are you stressing my MacBook or my PC so much? But at the other hand side, you would have somewhere a cut, right? You would have somewhere a cut. You would have somewhere a reload or a transition, which maybe is disturbing your experience. And doing something like that, you know, like having this great intro, and then basically at the end you're getting a product shot. This is really unique and really nice to experience, definitely.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's a cool transition to land on this bike here in this space, and that the WebGL bike basically becomes, you know, the companion that we follow throughout.
Absolutely. So now we are on the landing page, and as you can see here, it responds to my mouse, and there's some nice 3D thing going on, and we have a little bit of an introduction, changing prices, which I like for the different for the purpose of presenting which value this experience has. On the other hand side, I was wondering, why isn't it a little bit IP based? But as we are in times of Corona, a global community, anyways, maybe they identified that different possibilities.
I think also, I mean, it's a good solution for localization, right? When you're probably under some time pressure to pivot, one event to another. I think maybe we can talk a little bit about the general like look and feel here, and the UI and the structure of the site. It's extremely simple here. Like you said, there's some reaction to your cursor. We have a bit of information on the left here, and then at the bottom we have our navigation system where we have a previous and a next feature buttons, and then we have these bullet dots at the bottom as well. So if we wanted to skip to a feature further down the line, we would be able to do that. And then at the top we have a Shop Now button and a sound icon if you want to turn off the sound. I think the sound on the site is really great. They've done a good job where it's not annoying. It actually just complements what you're experiencing. And then they have a scannable QR code, so you can actually see the bike in AR.
There's one feedback point at that.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, the idea is great, and at the time when it happened, I think it's a great thinking of the user journey or the customer journey, that you actually can do the AR experience at this point. Unfortunately, it's not working anymore. We will probably elaborate on the reasons why later, but it's a pity. It's a pity because this thing has a crazy intro and a great product experience, and I think QR codes in times of Corona got a revival of some kind of reason, and then you would like to interact with that, but on the other hand side, it's not working. It's just leading you to the e-com experience, which is not bad. At least there's no dead end. But it's so prominent at the first slide, the first actual website experience, and it's a pity that it's not going further down the road.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think another thing about the QR code that is also a little strange is the use of the red color. When we look at the rest of the page, most of the interactive elements of the buttons, they use the red color, which is great for having, you know, an easy, understandable language as a user to be like, okay, if I want to interact with something, that's the red part I'm going for. And I wish they had taken it a little bit further too, especially with the next and previous button. I know that they are very obviously buttons since they're floating and have a shape around them, but I think you could have integrated the red color here as well to really like have a very strong language.
Anna, what do you think about the way of introducing the product, the way of typography, the way of the first experience after this immersive intro?
I think when we enter immersive websites, I think it's always exciting, but a lot of times it starts being confusing. You don't know where you can click, where you have to go, what moves, what doesn't move, what part of the copy is important. So if you just have one look at it, as Jonas said, I mean, it's very clear where you can press. And I like that also the Shop Now button is so red and so like it's right there. It's kind of almost a signal that it's kind of a skip thing. And I think they did an awesome job that even putting a big red button that kind of grabs your eye to click it, they still did a great job of not going, like your mind won't go there because the experience is so well done. You're going to want to pass through everything before you finish shopping. And again, with the copywriting here, I mean, a lot of times when you talk about innovation, we end up using copy that's super over the top. People don't even understand what you're talking about. It's not even human anymore. And here it's clear. It's a call to action. The price is right there, and that's enough. You want people to kind of fall in love with this visually, not read the specs. You know, it's not about the specs here. It's about how you're seeing it.
I think also now you rotated the bike into the other model, which I think is a really cool feature that they have baked in here. That okay, they have a red button that says you can switch between the models, but at the same time they also have a few other elements that indicates that you can interact with this bike. It's hard to see in the light mode, but here in the dark, it's obvious for us that we have a ring at the bottom of the ground,
Exactly.
which is a very subtle UI element that can indicate for us that there's something to do. And like you mentioned in the beginning, Jonas, the fact that the bike is reacting to the cursor's movements is another way for us to be like, I can do something with this bike. And then, of course, the obvious indication is that when you land, there is some floating text saying like drag to rotate, basically. So Resna doing a few different things here just to make sure that the user will interact with this piece, and before diving into features, they already know that this bike is interactive.
The interesting thing about that is as soon as it's changing its color, it's also changing the product. And you can't see it on the white one so much, but especially here in this on the black background, you can see that there are some red dots. Again, just like a little comment. I mean, I'm very sure that everybody was involved knows that, but there will be reasons. Is that here I can interact with the red button, and here it's just an indicator that I'm here right now. So these are the micro usability things. Sometimes can be a little bit elaborated, as you, Jonas, already mentioned. But the great thing about here is that you have here some dots to experience. And since we at Taikonauten are creating lots of WebGL configurators and customizers for bikes, for motorcycles, for furniture, whatever, this, for me, at this moment, maybe it's just me, I don't know, but at the beginning, I thought, okay, well, now I can configure the product. Now I can customize it. Now I can say, well, maybe I want to have different wheels or different assets, etc., etc. But it's actually not. It's bringing you. It's double navigation based on what we have here at the bottom to deep dive into certain topics, which will we experience later. But in this first moment, it was a little bit of confusing for me. I'm pretty sure that when first introduced the product, this was different. But when I'm landing on this page after the initial launch, I think that there's a little bit of, let's say, narrative missing. What I'm doing here at the moment. Am I experiencing a product, or am I experiencing a customization? And especially since it's a little bit more advanced than the other OneMove e-commerce experience, I got a little bit lost when I was thinking about what can I do here?
Yeah, I think that's a pretty good point you have there, and I think, I mean, there's ways to solve that, right? Like a little label when you hovered next to the feature could have helped like explore the theft defense, right? Or if it had said customized, you wouldn't have been in doubt about what you would be able to do. So I think having that little bit of context could have helped the user in this case.
Should we jump into the next
Let's
feature?
do it.
Yeah.
So now prepare everybody, because there's some nice animation going on in this WebGL experience. Boom.
Yeah,
yeah, please.
you go.
No, please.
Yeah, so I just wanted to highlight here, the fact that we have these two modes that we kind of shift between, right? We have the light mode and the dark mode, and I think conceptually that's really nice because I think it's a good nod towards the bike in the sense of you can ride the bike in the daytime, you can also ride the bike in the nighttime, and it's nice to see the bike in the different environments that it would live within. It's also, every time you click through such a simple structured website, it's nice that visually a lot of things is happening. The big thing here, though, is that suddenly there's a new element implemented, and that's the video we can see here on the right. So what's happening is that it autoplays a video snippet of one of the owners of Van Moof, who explains this intelligent motor feature to us. And while he does that, we can, on the left side, play around with that feature. So we can increase red dots, and then we can see, basically visualize what he's talking about. And this is really cool with the sound and everything. So yeah, please go ahead and try that out. But it's a very simple UI, and I think the choice of going with these video snippets is really genius, because a lot of times with products, we want to learn about the features, and some of the features can be extremely complex to describe, and having someone telling it is leaving a lot of space for us to be creative, which I think they have been.
And I like how the visual is not a literal demo. I guess for that you have what he's actually saying, and then visually you're just seeing something super beautiful that's kind of like what he's explaining, but not getting too complicated into making the product look exactly the same as it would in real life. It's just like a hint for that. And I think that's something they do feature by feature.
Definitely. And from these WebGL experiences, we experienced that logically, the more you put into the experience, the more the system starting to work and to get hot and to try to inhale and exhale. And what I like about this approach is that with a very simple approach like the dots here, you can. It's so clever, because it's not important, or it's not heavy for the system, but you still have some kind of elements here, giving you the perspective, giving you a feeling what you're interacting, giving you a feeling of what you are able to do based on what is explained on the right side. Yeah, I mean, we have a little dot which is rotating pretty slowly around the wheel and around the system, around the motor. With that you get really great feeling. I'm just recognizing that we never said what Van Moof is.
I hope
it's a shoe
have
company.
Understood by now.
Yeah. Obviously they're delivering some e-bikes, and not just some e-bikes, but I think they're really, especially from the design and experience perspective, they thought through a lot of things. I also think that there are a lot of competitors and also it's actually a great field of exploring new possibilities and exploring new user experiences. We have also some bike companies, but they're like on the global scaling agencies. I guess everybody has some kind of e-bike at the moment in their portfolio. Which is pretty strong, because it is a beautiful experience, a new technology from a hardware transferring to the digital experience.
One thing I also just want to highlight here in terms of the WebGL and this feature here, I actually also really like how they have dimmed down parts of the bike that is not relevant for this feature.
It's true.
So right now we are focusing on that motor. So that's, front and center popping up in this nice black metallic color, and the rest, is there but not visible.
Yeah,
we lost the website.
Yeah, I'm coming back. Sorry.
And also, it's super soothing. Like, that could be my screensaver for days, Like, normally when you start explaining technical stuff, it can get, like, very intense and complicated and epic. And here they explain something so complicated and a soothing thing that even for your visual eye, you can see that again and again and again. And it has to do with the white. And it's crazy how they even managed to make the color red part of this very, like, soothing ambiance.
Totally. I mean, last comment before I jump to the next slide, if it's okay for you, is that what is interesting here at this point is that the subheadline here, for example, is red. And the system just taught us before that the red things are mostly, or most often, most times interactive. But that here it's just like some kind of very strict ruled by a design style guide, or just to have some friction here, or some like, let's say, design appreciation. But at the other hand side, this product is obvious, or this website, or this application is specifically created for introducing a product and giving you a super crazy experience, super immersive experience. And it's at this point I thought, okay, well, maybe I can find here more details about the product. But at the end, we will all recognize that this is really just an experience. And as soon as you click on shop now, you're really leaving this website from this ecosystem created, which is very smooth and which is very continuous from the perspective of the user group, of the target group. But this specific or this particular website is breaking out of the system somehow, and which is cool, some kind of a satellite. But you can see that some things are not maybe finished to the end. Let it be time, let it be budget, let it be whatever. But it's still in the atmosphere of the internet, and it would be great to experience and to learn more, right?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So maybe we jump to the next slide.
Yeah. So again, I just want to point out, the obvious, like the shift in the visuals, right? Like we went from the lighter experience to the dark, and there's just something refreshing about changing up things. Like yes, we create systems and things have to be a certain way, and we have to follow our rules and so on. But sometimes, I mean, it's just refreshing to see something new. And swapping here is just like, it feels nice to be in this view now. Suddenly that's great. And again, it's basically just flipping or reversing the layout that we saw just before. So now we have the video to the left, and we have the bike to the right, and that is a good way for us to be familiar with the UI elements, but at the same time feel like we go somewhere new. So yeah, I think that's really nice.
Yeah, I guess it's very like fresh yet consistent. Every time you go to another feature, you have those three elements, and you're having one interaction, one video, and one very big copyright thing there, without it being confusing. Because again, I think with interactive websites, if you change the interaction, it becomes super confusing once you advance in the web page. And this is just the same thing. Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
But seeing different stuff. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I mean, it's a beautiful idea to combine a personal touch with a human being, with the actual owner or the co-founder of the company, explaining what happens in this moment, and it makes it really sympathetic, enjoyable. The whole experience, it's basically like you go into a store and somebody's telling you with lots of passion and with all his or her capabilities, explaining what do you see here right now, and why is it so wonderful and such a nice product. Because I think these things, especially we are not in a traditional e-commerce here, but we are somehow presenting a product which you can buy, and especially in when it's higher priced products, it is important to you're not only buying the product, you're buying an experience, you're buying a presentation, you're buying a forward thinking, you're buying an innovation, and sometimes it's hard to explain that in a very, let's say, semi-static website or semi-static e-commerce experience, and especially because they launched this website when this product got launched. I think it's a great way to make it more vivid, or to make it actually enjoyable or experienceable in a way which is pretty unique. Still, I'm always thinking I can customize something here and change the black to the light blue. But
one thing I want to say, Jonas, about like when you were talking before, at some point the video ends. Basically, he's done talking about this feature here.
It's true.
And that's a bit of a shame that it not like restarts playing or gives me the option to replay or something like that, because suddenly you feel a little stuck potentially, where it's just a few things to improve, but of course they have had time issues, I guess, but those
That's
little UX
elements
just makes it a it is. They had 4 years. I have no idea.
No, just kidding.
But yeah, I think that's from a UX perspective lacking a little bit, that ability to do that if needed.
Anna, what do you think about these indicators here at the bottom?
I love those because I think everyone knows what they mean already. Like any website has them. It's the typical carousel people have been using. You even have it on Instagram. So it's a very visual code that someone that isn't even into websites or used to this already knows.
I have a few...
about is like obviously someone. No, go ahead with the points. We can.
Okay, I have a few issues with the bullet nav. To Anna's point, I totally agree. It's a navigation system that everyone knows, and for that it's good. I do think there are a few improvements to do here, because I have already forgotten what the second feature was. So I would love if there was like a hover state where you could see the name of the features above the dot, so that if I'm at the 6th feature, I can hop back to the second one and knowing what I'm going to. That's one thing. And then I think conceptually there was a few cool things you could have done here, like thinking about a bike, thinking about traffic, and then these bullet dots. I think they could have styled it in a really, really fun way that spoke about bikes. But I'm assuming that they had a lot of time pressure on this project, so I think they have still done a really good job with it.
I always think that when somebody does the work, or just the engagement to interact with an element, I always believe that this moment should be honored with more information, with seeing more depth, or seeing more information. Not the information I said, but some kind of interaction, etc., etc. Which is also a little bit of a pity, because this video stops, right? There's not even a way to replay it, or to see a little bit more insight, and this is always a little bit of a pity. And again, I don't want to be the bad guy here at this moment, but which is also kind of a pity, is that this whole experience is basically not optimized for smartphones. It leads you to some kind of the classic thing you see sometimes when there's some kind of experience in this kind of is, please, in this case, make your browser bigger, or another case when you enter it with the smartphone, it says, for having the whole experience, please change to the desktop experience. And we just can emphasize at this moment, but it will be probably, since it is some kind of satellite experience and some kind of satellite website, it was built for a specific purpose, and maybe some use cases or some specific areas were not looked at, which is completely fine, because data is telling you everything, and when there's only 10-20% for such a satellite website wants to experience it with mobile, fair enough. But at the other hand side, this whole experience would be so sick on a mobile phone, like with pinching, with swiping, with getting deep dive, with all the possibilities to experience that. So I would love to see that on a mobile phone, to be honest.
But again, Jonas, back to a point you said earlier, right? Like this website is an experience, and it was built for, an event, and it was built for launching this bike. So, I think it's bold for VanMoof to be like, this will just be on desktop, and it will be a great experience on desktop. And then we will, of course, have an e-com experience where you can buy the product, hopefully, I guess, on all devices.
Hopefully.
I mean, I agree, but people are buying via mobile today. Maybe you're not buying $1,000 bike on your phone. You're buying a pair of sneakers, something like that. But I don't know. Maybe they could have done it like something extra. Going a little bit back to the points, I really like that it gives you a sense of how long this website is. If you have 10 minutes, you'll just click really fast through this. And it's not like this thing where you're clicking and it never ends, and you end up just closing the website before it finishes. It's kind of like one of those articles that when you start, it says like a 30-minute read. It's kind of like that little notification.
Yeah. Besides of the fact that you can very easily navigate through different perspectives, and again we have this topic of very easy design elements can change the whole perspective and the speed and the acceleration, which is very clever done. On the other hand side, the link never changes. It's never changing. So there's no possibility to direct link to one of these topics, which is a pity, because it's always live.vanmoof.com/site. And sometimes, when I have an experience like that and I'm a fan of the brand, of the product, I would like to share that. I would like to share, like, look at this. Okay, maybe you're not break the brakes, because this is kind of something I expect on a bike, but maybe the turbo boost or something like that. I would really love to share that with my network when I'm a big fan. And again, there will be reasons. There are always reasons why they're not there, because I cannot imagine that that nobody was thinking of that. And in a way of a process, you need to prioritize sometimes. But it is a very, very, very unfortunate thing, because especially when in our pre-talks, also when we said, hey, well, look at this feature on this point, you need always to say, well, launch the website and click on the 5th button at the bottom, turbo boost or whatever, and then you click first on the 3rd, and then on the 6th, and then you're coming back. So this is kind of a feedback, which maybe also in the overall rating was a little bit of a minus point in the awards rating, in the sense of usability, because the design and the creativity is unbeatable. Yeah, but some kinds of the usability, and especially also, what is this page telling me right now? Should I just see some details? Should I go to shop now? Is there some customization, etc., etc.? The let's say the leading purpose for a user, which is probably just a fan or just want to look at new bikes, it's a little bit fuzzy, and fuzziness is great when you want to have a brand experience, which is maybe the purpose here. But fuzziness is also pretty hard if you would like to funnel somebody to some call to action.
Yeah, it's always a balance, right?
Yes.
Experience versus
Yes.
information, and I think that's also why it is a separate channel, right, to explore this product in, and then you have, you know, the more classic approach with the e-com experience to learn more in your pace, basically.
Absolutely. But this whole website had one specific purpose. It was presented in some very special context. And before we would like to elaborate on this purpose, maybe we can show a quick video what actually happened before the website was entered. Because basically, Jonas, maybe you say 1 or 2 sentences and then kick off the video. There was a purpose why this website is built like it is, and I think this is very unique.
Yeah, so basically, I was working, and on my company Slack, someone posted a link to a website where there was gonna be an event, basically an online event, similar to when there's a keynote and so on. But it felt different. There was like a landing page with a lot of other people hanging around, and you didn't really know what the product was going to be. It was just very exciting, and you know, they basically changed the game a little bit in terms of what a keynote is and can be.
Jonas, can I hold you back at this point? Sorry, because
yeah,
let's see,
I'm
let's
getting
see the
ahead
video
of myself.
first, right?
Let's do it, and I'll get back
It's
to
just
it.
so exciting.
Yeah, this video is by Resin, and we cut it a little bit.
Yeah, so basically, I can start talking on top of this a little
Sure.
bit. There was a live event happening where, yeah, basically here, a universe with a lot of other people floating around. And when that started, it basically went into a live stream experience where the video snippets that you saw on the website that we just went through, that was actually snippets from the live broadcasting. And the cool thing about this experience was that as a user, you had the bike like you have in this experience as well, but moving from feature to feature was actually controlled by Van Moof or Resin or the technical people behind this. So you were taken from one feature to another without you controlling it, but you could interact with the bike in between. For me, that was groundbreaking. It was like a completely new way of doing this. I think we have all in our industry sat and watched Apple and another keynote from them where there's a stage and people are talking and all the employees are cheering in the background on the products they have worked on for years. And this was just more like inviting the user in or the viewer a little bit more to be a part of it. And I think, you know, this was obviously happening because of COVID, because I think if COVID hadn't happened, then Van Moof had probably done a keynote like we used to know them. But you know, this is where I think creativity comes into play, and where, you know, our work field is so interesting, is that COVID was a problem, and we as designers are we make solutions to problems.
So true.
And I think this is what Resin did. They had probably very few weeks to come up with this experience. And, you know, hats off to Van Moof for even jumping on board to this concept and saying, hell yeah, let's do this. But they did. And I think a company like Apple is probably going to look towards them and say, we should have come up with that. And you said that when we talked the other day, and I think you're so right about that. Like, I think they envy Van Moof for this move.
I mean, I think also it's like, once they did it, I'm super jealous, and it's also the door it opens. This is a total different way of seeing live events, interactive events. We're seeing the NBA doing their thing. You know, COVID is like, it's changing so much. And what this site brought to my head is like, okay, it's very clear how it can be used to launch a product. Apple is going to be doing something very similar next time. But what else can it be? Entertainment-wise, you know, sports-wise, even like social-wise. I think it's very new, and I hope a lot of people start exploring it again.
Yeah, and it's interesting, right? Because there's the baking ingredients they have used are not new. Like it's WebGL, it's video streaming. We know all those elements, but they're put together in a way that is different. And it was we always talk about like let the user control, but in this case, you know, they controlled our journey, and it worked really well.
Absolutely. Yeah, and in general, like in these current times, there are a lot of new product presentations popping up from Mercedes-Benz, from Apple, even how they change. Every kind of. Excuse me.
No, maybe too many. Like every time they do product launches and product launches and product launches, and they all seem like the same. And this is so different.
But that's so cool. That's so cool because just remember 3 years ago, an Apple keynote wasn't different than an Android keynote or a Google keynote. They were all the same. The stage is bigger and bigger and bigger, and live streaming. And as we all know, the COVID time is struggling. It's a struggling time. Is hitting and influencing everybody in some context. But where there's friction, there's also room for creativity and a new way of solutions. And I think it should be also very looking at this as a very inspiring example of within a very short amount of time, probably a very short amount of time, how we can come up with new solutions and having a beautiful experience and lean thinking, innovative, and just creating cool new stuff. And this is why we are here. We are here to solve problems, to make immersive experiences, to communicate values and products. And I'm very glad about that things like that happen. Sorry, Jonas?
Yeah, I just want to add on top of what you're saying. I think, you know, right now, I think is a very good opportunity for all us creatives to push brands. I think this is our opportunity to, you know, get it further creatively than it has been before. I think brands seems to be more open in terms of experimenting a little bit. You know, they are open to new things now that, you know, we are forced into a more digital world. So yeah, I think go out there and push for your ideas and let's see it happen.
So true. And I think this is a perfect moment where we would like to invite Rachel again for some questions and answers. First of all, thank you very much, Anna and Jonas. This was actually 45 minutes of talking, but it felt like 2 minutes.
I know.
Thanks for your insights. And what do you have for us, Rachel?
Yeah, thanks, guys. That was a really comprehensive spin around that site, and it went super quickly. So that was really interesting. So we've got loads of people on YouTube, and so let's kick off with the questions. Question: how could Van Moof gotten more viewers on the live show to enjoy the full experience?
I mean, like, I work in social all the time. This could have been mailing, this could have been social, this could have been so many things. But some of the things we talked before is, did they really want to get a lot of people on this thing as a first-time thing? So such an innovation, it's dangerous when suddenly, imagine, you said, Jonas, it was like 400 people on there, right? Maybe it was on purpose. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you, Anna. It was completely a coincidence. I spotted this event. If I hadn't looked in that Slack channel, I wouldn't have seen anything about it. And either that's, you know, a time issue that you haven't had enough time to make a launch plan, you know, a promotion plan for this, or it is like you were saying, we don't really know how this is gonna go down. So let's, you know, let's get it out there and hopefully not fuck up too much.
Yeah, I'm eager to see when someone actually grabs this format and does it in a very large scale, what will happen. So that's exciting.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Question, what improvements could have been made? What would be your key improvements?
I can
think
jump in
like
quickly.
Jonas would be personalizations for sure. He would have wanted to color his bike all the way through the site. That's clear.
I mean, maybe, yeah. But I think we mentioned a lot of things, yeah. It could be experienceable on mobile. It could be a configurator. It could be customizer. It could be maybe a little bit more stronger in the performance, etc., etc. But we are here all professionals, and to all the viewers outside, and you probably also know that it's not only on our purpose. It's also sometimes the real world strikes in, and we need to balance the wishes of the brand. We need to balance the wishes of the users. We need to balance the wishes of the client. We need to see that there was. The three of us, we all think that something else was planned before, but it changed because of COVID. And for that, whatever 3 weeks, 3 months, or whatever they had, I think it's a great experience, and they thought through what is important in this moment. Well, people are not in the trains anymore during COVID, but they're at home and their PCs or laptops or MacBooks or whatever. So maybe a smartphone is not necessary, etc., etc. It would be very, 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 for me at least, it would be very high, or many hypotheses. What could be different? What was obvious, I think we mentioned, and since I am a little bit very detailed about micro usability or micro interactions or stuff like that, or consistencies, I mentioned a couple of things, but since it is a user-driven approach, like clear user interfaces, clear elements, maybe not just like a magazine style layout, design, website, etc., etc. I talked about the last couple of 2 times. This one is really with a user centricity approach. So this is what I like, and there's always room to improve, because otherwise we wouldn't be in this job, right?
totally.
Okay. Anyone want to add anything to that?
I think no. I
guess
mean, like
overall it's
Jonas
just-
said,
oh, go ahead.
just the mobile experience would have been nice to have. Definitely, I think everyone, when we make products digitally, we should always consider all platforms. So that's my only thing. But I think in general, cool experience, and I'm so envious that I didn't come up with that format that they made for this.
Anna, were you going to say something?
Oh, no, I'm good. I was about to say the jealous thing too. I mean, I think it's super brave to come up with this right now. And again, I repeat it, the doors it opens is, I think, unimaginable right now.
This braveness is definitely something you're connecting with residents. So keep up this work. It's always great. Thank you.
I actually just want to say, like, I really think it's cool that Van Moof went on this thing. We haven't mentioned it, but I think, it's so rare that you create a 3D version of your product, and it's not looking like the real product, but it's a representation of it, and not having that real representation of the product it's pretty bold going that way, and it's very, very few clients who dare. So I think that's really, really cool of them.
Yeah, Resin do like calling themselves disruptors of the web, so
yeah,
we're doing it. Okay, another question. How can this website concept inspire other types of content that aren't only keynotes or launches?
good
I mean,
question.
I think we went through that, like how fashion, how sports, how entertainment are trying all these new methods. Maybe it's more about little screens and people there and trying to take people to where these things happened, when in reality we can take these things to where people really are, and I think that's what this website does. It was not a fake keynote, presidential keynote. It was actually total different things. So I'm just excited to see how this can evolve into other things that aren't keynotes.
Yeah, and I think I think what's really great is those video snippets, because they can go very nerdy in detail on you know, a feature or whatever it is. It could be anything, but you can lean back in a way and just take that in and listen, and it also feels personal, right? There, it's the owner of this brand who's standing there, is super passionate about this thing and explaining it, and that's nice too, to get a face on the people behind the product and you know, be on a part of their journey. I think that that makes it a stronger product.
I think what is also very interesting is that this is actually a slap in every designer's face, the solution, because sometimes we are thinking in formats or in boxes or in features or something like that, you know, like okay, well, there's a product presentation. Well, we need a really cool keynote or PowerPoint or whatever you're using outside. So well, we are thinking in this format or in this context, or when we say, okay, well, we need some personalization. Okay, let's put a pre-scripted video inside and maybe not a Q&A, like within right now, but also when the product was released. And I think having the chance to think differently on products, or to interchange into perspectives, and not thinking in formats anymore, especially when you were through university, when you worked for 10 years in something, one of the easiest things are thinking in formats. And when we can break out of this thinking and not thinking in formats and not thinking in boxes or whatever. I mean, it sounds cheesy, but I mean, it's a great example here, how you can see, well, there's a keynote. Well, we need a live stream and a keynote, but there was something else. There was a 3D WebGL immersive experience, which in the live event was gone through automatically. You had the live stream, the actual live stream of the co-founders next to the product when it was introduced. And this is definitely literally thinking outside of the box, and we should take this example as one of the great experiences to inspire ourselves.
Okay, good. Thanks, guys. We've got a question from Samskar. They're asking, is it possible to replicate the same 3D animation of the product in XD, Sketch, or any application used for wireframing?
No.
The first question comes to my mind is why. I mean, why should you do such an immersive experience in did you say wireframing tools?
Yeah.
I mean, you know, for an experience like this, I would approach it as a classic storyboard. I would draw, you know, the feature screens, the composition. I would draw that basically by hand, and then, you know, I would take that into XD or Sketch or Figma, whatever your tool is, and then I would put the UI on top of that. And then, you know, take that to a creative dev, and then get that person to build that bike in WebGL, or get it to a 3D designer that could do it for you, and then bring that into WebGL. And then maybe I would bring a mood board along of how I want this bike to look stylistically. That would be my approach. You can't make 3D products like this in these tools. You need a 3D software.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. I hope that answered your question, Sam Scott. And we've got a question from Jamal, wanting to know tools recommended by you to create this type of experience.
Well, again, I would use Cinema 4D. I would, if you can't do it yourself, team up with someone who knows a 3D software that can be exported into WebGL, and then, yeah, find those creative developers who know how to build this. They are a rare species, but you need one of those to make this. As a designer, you know, you can you can focus on the story you want to tell and how that should look, and then get someone who can make 3D and code to do it.
I mean, besides of that, there are lots of engines and tools outside. You can even do your, as stupid as it sounds, but you can even do your Snapchat AR face cover by downloading software by Snap Inc. And it's so freaking easy to just drag and drop some kind of 3D format and play around with that. I think 3D is always it feels always so different and so crazy complicated, but to a certain amount of time, to a certain amount of fidelity, there are lots of cool tools trying out, even as a web tool, so you don't even need to install something. However, I mean, we are here in a digital experience. Let's always think, what is the browser capable to do? And what is performance? Because we all know, we had this situation so many times. This website took 1 second too long to load. I'm leaving, or I'm closing it, or whatever.
To that, I actually want to jump in there, Jonas, because I agree with you. Like, we shouldn't make WebGL for the WebGL's sake. It should make sense for whatever you're building, because there's a lot of experiences out there that are too heavy for the browser, and there's not enough people who spend enough time on optimizing this so that it's light to load and it's light to navigate. There's so many sites where my laptop is starting to sound like a space rocket launching. When I visit these sites, and my battery dropped 20% instantly. It's I think we could all do a better job in optimizing for the browser as designers.
Okay, awesome, thank you. And we've got a question. Arjun wants to know, where do you find these rare species of creative developers? Where can they be found in the wild?
Anna, do you have some insights from
I would say Twitter is a good place. I would say Twitter is a great place to look. I know there's a school in France. It's called, what's it called? Do you know it, Jonas?
Hetic, maybe?
Yeah, maybe that's the one.
Shout out to all my ex colleagues from Hetic. Hi.
I mean, Twitter is a good place to start. Awwwards is, of course, also a great place to start to find these websites, dig through, who made it, look through their website, see if you can find any names. That's my best advice, I'd say.
Yeah, good advice. Go to Awwwards.
Absolutely.
You can check the directory. Okay, Mariana is asking how to present the idea or story of the website to developers.
Do you want to jump in, Anna, or should I?
Go for it.
I mean, again, I would create a mood board. I would grab images from wherever I'm inspired. Like I often troll through Pinterest or books or something, and I stitch together. I would make a mood. In this case, I would make a mood board for the lighting that I would use for on the bike. I would make a mood board for the scene, and then I would make storyboards for each of the features, and I would maybe make a storyboard for the default state where we are close on an element, and then I would make a storyboard for the active state when the user has clicked the feature and then activating the feature. So in that way, you can visualize for the developer what you're thinking, because they will think about camera angles and motion between those scenes. So yeah, I would approach it like that.
At the end, please don't forget that every developer is also creative. Yeah. So, sometimes you get in the situation that you have like this waterfall approach: first concept, first design, first engineering. That's so 90s. I mean, sometimes
Absolutely.
there is a situation that you need to challenge like that, that you need to work like that, but this is not how I like to work, how we like to work. I mean, it's not always possible. We all know the reality is how the reality is, but you should always try to work that and start from the very beginning, getting this input. You know, as a designer, you have some kind of something in your mind or whatever. But then one of your engineers comes around and said, "Well, dude, I just imported this WebGL 3D object. I already put all the magic what you had in your fuzzy brain on the actual product, and from there you're getting further and further and further and further."
And
so
honestly, that's the best feeling, right? When you hand off something to a developer and they just take it further than you imagined. That feeling is better than anything.
So love your
And I
engineers.
think for that you have to be open and flexible, you know, this is the idea. It's almost when you film a commercial, no? This is how you imagine, and then the production team does something totally different and makes it even better. I think that's the same with the developer. It's like, this is how I want it to look. This is what I want the user to experience it. What solutions do you have? And maybe even those solutions are the exact same thing you were thinking. They're even better.
Okay, well, I think that is a good point to wrap up with. Yeah, we were looking for the name of the other school. It was Gobelins. Baptiste just chipped in. And Hetic, which is Hetic. Someone wanted to know. So, time's up. That's all for today. Thank you so much to everyone who tuned in from all over the world. Thank you for your questions and your shout outs. If you enjoyed this live jury review, then you should join us on October the 22nd. We'll be joined by Denis Lomov and Chiara Aliotta. So yeah, thank you. Remember to like and subscribe. All that's left to say is thank you so much, Jonas, Anna. We really, really appreciate you taking the time out of your day and for delivering such fantastic content for our community.
You're welcome. It was a pleasure being here.
This was awesome.
Thank you very much. It was great. And to all the Awwwards community, keep creating great experiences and love your engineers.
Amen.
Okay, thanks everyone. We'll see you next time on Awwwards Academy.
Thank you. Bye. Stay healthy.
Bye, guys.
Thanks, John.
Bye.
Thanks, Anna.
Bye. Stay healthy.